The following is a Furnished Brothers production. Introducing your host, Rob.
Put your best players out there, Mike.
And Ryan.
He missed the net, and it somehow went in.
This is the Talking Buds podcast.
One back in for Toronto. Clark shoving it to the corner. Out front again, Rouse. Scores! Scores! The Leafs win it! The Leafs defeat the Detroit Red Wings in overtime. 2 minutes, 35 seconds in. This has been an unbelievable turn of events. The Leafs march on, and the Red Wings have been eliminated.
To quote the legendary Bob Cole, "Oh baby." Welcome to episode 18 of the Talkin' Buds podcast. Just got finished watching the Leafs pull out a 5-4 hard-fought victory over the Ottawa Senators. Before we get into that, Ryan, how's it going, buddy?
Beep, bada, beep, boop, boop. What is going on? Robert Furnish.
The Leafs just beat the Senators 5-4. Auston Matthews has a new contract. Mitch Marner's agent is making all kinds of crazy comments. Jake Muzzin throws body checks. We have no shortage of things to talk about this week, buddy.
No, man, and I got a hot take right out of the gate about the hockey game that just happened.
All right. We're going to, just before you say that, we're going to talk about the game. We're going to get into the Matthews contract stuff a little later, but tee you up, go for it.
All right, you ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready for it.
That game was awful.
Oh.
Awful hockey game. I
Sens always play them
that
tough.
hockey game.
The Sens always play them tough. We said on Instagram today, the Sens always play them tough, and that's exactly what happened. Why did you think the game was awful?
I mean, if you were at the game in the Scotiabank Arena, I'm sure it was a fun game because anytime you go to a Leaf game, there's a bunch of goals and you get to hear that Hall & Oates song play 5 times. It's probably not a bad time, but if you're sitting at home watching on your television, dissecting everything that happens in the game, yeah, they scored 5 goals and they won a hockey game, but dude, I just, there was a couple things that night that just did not impress me whatsoever.
All right, well, let's run down the game first, and then you can elaborate on what exactly didn't impress you. The Leafs win 5-4. As I said earlier, hard-fought battle. Goals by Mitch Marner with 2 ridiculous assists on goals.
Ridiculous assists.
Yeah,
unbelievable
ridiculous
passes.
Sets up Hyman for a goal. Hyman ended up getting 2. Then Tavares got one on a unreal toe drag pass from Marner. Comes over the blue line with speed. Unreal toe drag pass. Just ridiculous. Matthews ends up getting one he did the whole thing himself. Morgan Rielly on a beauty pass from Hyman, and Andreas Janssen completes the 5-pack of goals. The Sens, they always play them tough, man. The Sens I think the Sens get up to play the Leafs, especially where that team is at now, where they're way out of it. Then there's the whole Battle of Ontario thing. I just think that they get pumped to play the Leafs, and it shows every time they play them. I didn't think tonight was Freddie Anderson's best game. Is it just me, or does he always have a shaky outing against the Sens?
I thought he was unreal early, to be honest with you. I thought in the first period, that game could have been a blowout. He made so many good saves between below the 10-minute mark in the first period and the first 10 minutes of the second period. I thought he made some unbelievable saves, but then, dude, they got over 40 shots on him. This is the worst hockey team in the National Hockey League, and there's a 40 spot on the television. And it's like, yikes.
It was a typical Leaf game in the sense that, like, they had some really soft, lazy stretches.
Oh, dude,
but their skill, they're able to outscore their problems. Like, they're so skilled and have so much offensive goal scoring talent that it doesn't matter. They can go to sleep for 10 minutes, fall behind 2 goals or a goal, and get right back in it.
Well, congratulations. You barely escaped against the worst team in the NHL. And when Ottawa getting up to play the Leafs, Ottawa has something to play for here. Usually if you're in position to win the lottery, you want to go tank nation. But this team doesn't want to go tank nation because they gave up their pick to the Colorado Avalanche. So they need to start winning some hockey games so they don't finish dead last and they don't look so stupid when Jack Hughes throws on a Colorado Avalanche sweater in April.
Oh,
or May or June, whenever the draft is.
Isn't that just salt in the wound? Like,
they're run by a bunch of dummies. Like, Eugene Melnyk is a dummy. Pierre Dorian, he's always got Scrabble face. Traded Matt Duchene, who's up for his deal this year, and gave up his first-round pick that is not lottery protected. And now they're going to watch their franchise player don a Colorado Avalanche jersey. Yikes.
All right, I want to hear it. I want to hear what it is about tonight's game and exactly what bothered you. I only have one main thing to say, and that is the defense pairing of Jake Gardiner and Nikita Zaitsev is an absolute liability out there.
It's awful.
They're brutal, man. Nikita Zaitsev, like, I know, like, I apologize to the loyal Talkin' Buds listeners who hear me say this all the time, but oh my God, is he terrible. Like,
terrible.
Yeah, like, we're gonna get into, like, the whole contract thing a little later, but essentially, they're gonna have to ship some contracts out of town, and it's like, Zaitsev is the ideal one that you'd like to get rid of, but who the hell is gonna take on that guy? He stinks.
My problem with tonight is just the same problem me and you've been running down for months. Just soft hockey all over the ice. And I thought the Matthews goal and the Janssen goal were 2 fortunate bounces for them. And the other 3 were beauty setups. But it's just the overall soft play. I know it's game whatever of 82. And there's so many hockey games in an NHL regular season. But sometimes I just, especially with all this contract stuff hovering over our head, I would just like to see some guys who make a lot of money start playing like men and being a little tougher on their sticks and winning some battles. Like, do you know how many battles they lost tonight? They're lucky to win that hockey game. I thought the Senators dominated them for at least 40 minutes of that hockey game.
Yeah, there were stretches of the game where the Leafs were completely asleep. I don't doubt that.
And we could be just stupid Leaf fans arguing about a win, but like it's the same thing we always talk about. It's like let's wait till we get to April, go to sleep for a period and a half or 2 periods, and then watch what happens when you start playing a good hockey team and you do that and you start being soft and that Gardiner-Zaitsev pairing played like they did tonight. Like, they're gonna get run out of a rink, man. Like, so soft at some points tonight.
Play like they do every night, Ryan. They're terrible every single night, that pairing.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Gardner, like, I'll actually cut Zaitsev a break tonight, even though he made some dumb plays. But I thought Jake Gardiner was just brutal tonight. He was awful. Slow, man. Like, this for an offensive player who's supposed to have some speed. I don't see it, man. Like, he is slow.
You were fired up. You were fired up after watching that game.
Well, it was weird. It was like I watched my team win a hockey game, get 2 points. I'm happy they're on a 3-game win streak right now. They're starting to keep pace with the Canadians and the Bruins and keeping a little bit ahead of them in the standings, trying to get home ice in that first round. But it's just, I don't know. The game finished tonight, and I was just like, oh, great. They slid out a victory against the worst team in the league. Like, they worry me sometimes, man. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes I just want to go out there myself and start jabbing at Ottawa Senators, being like, this is what it's like to play with a little bit of toughness.
All right. let's positive. I want to hear your positive takes on the game tonight. What was something that you were pleased with?
Well, it was the big boys produced. Like, we're going to get into it later, all the contracts, but it's like these guys want to get paid a lot of money. You got to produce. So it's nice seeing Marner set up 2 beautiful goals. I know I said Matthews' goal was a little bit of a bounce. The Senators kind of lost track of the puck, and he was just in the right position to score. So, but just, I like seeing the big boys contribute, because that's what you get paid to do, is contribute. And it's nice that they're kind of back on a goal-scoring run, even though they've played 2 awful hockey teams the past 2 games. But them getting the amount of goals they've got in the last 2 games, at least they're kind of back on the, if we're going to play like crap, then our skill's going to bail us out. So to me, that's a positive.
All right, let's move into some player discussion here. I want to hear your Jake Muzzin take. He set Leaf Nation ablaze on Monday night with his body checks and his goal, and he had a 3-point night the other night, I believe. And he just let me hear your Jake Muzzin take. What have you seen from the Leafs' newest defenseman?
I've seen a guy who's just brings a different element to this hockey team that we've wanted for a while. Like, he's not Scott Stevens. He's not lining guys up and destroying them. But if he sees a good opportunity to lay a hit on an opposing player, he's going to take it. He's going to deliver a clean hit. He's not going to take a stupid penalty. We saw him bomb a shot from the point the other night, and I know he's not a superstar offensive defenseman, but at least like, Babcock's already got him out on the power play, and he's only been a Leaf for 4 games. So that's an encouraging sign for me that Babcock's already kind of trusting him, being like, oh, okay, Jake Muzzin comes in, because that his quote last week, "It's not a perfect situation," kind of worried me a bit for this guy. But seeing him on the power play already, and you notice on the power play tonight, there was no Kadri. It was just Marner, Matthews, Tavares, Muzzin, and Gardiner out at one point, which I found kind of interesting. But one thing we know about Leafs Nation is we can fall in love with physical hockey players like Darcy Tucker, like Ty Domi. Like, even though those guys were kind of more fighters. But if you just bring a different type of energy to this hockey team, especially physical energy, because not everyone's a Corsi and Fenwick guy, Like, not everyone's all about zone entries and guys who break up the cycle.
I would say most people aren't Corsi and Fenwick guys.
Exactly. It's just the marks, right? The hockey marks. But if you're just the average Joe paying your ticket to go to a Leaf game, you'll see Jake Muzzin lay out Corey Perry and be like, nice.
Yeah.
That was awesome. He just killed him. What a hit. Like, that gets people excited. And for once, Scotiabank Arena actually lit up. So I think this guy, just, if he continues to play within himself, like we said last week, he's not a savior. He can't think that in his own mind. He's just got to play his game. And as long as he does that, I think he'll be just fine. And he's a guy who also eats up a lot of minutes, which is something they also need.
For me, he just brings like a sense of stability back there. Like, he's a more like stay-at-home presence, which, to your earlier point, they haven't really had. And it's just a breath of fresh air to watch him. He's smart with the puck. He's skilled. It's just, I love it. I love when, I don't know if you've been paying attention to his like post-game press conferences, but there's been 2 instances now that I've seen where he's like someone has asked him about his body checks, and he's like taken aback by it. He's like,
why is this so exciting?
Yeah. He's like, why? Yeah, it's a hit. That, like, it's a contact sport. It's a hit. And it's like, no, we've been watching Nikita Zaitsev all year. So
we've been watching everyone on this, other than Zach Hyman, who really delivers body checks on this hockey team.
Yeah. Like, no, we literally have the least physical team in hockey. So the fact that you go out there and throw a body check is just the most exciting thing ever to us.
Oh my, I know. And it's like, that actually, I didn't even think of that. That's a great point, because I remember him he's kind of been,
you can see it in his face. Like, they ask him the question and he's kind of like, yeah, it's it's hockey.
Yeah, I played
There's
for
body
Daryl
checking.
Sutter, and that means that's a standard for that guy's hockey team. I don't know what you guys are doing here in Toronto. softies.
Yeah, I think he's been everything we've wanted and hoped he would be. Great pickup by Kyle Dubas. I'm thrilled with the way he's been. He was on the ice for a goal tonight, but it's just like whatever. Like the team struggled a bit at times tonight, but I couldn't be happier with what I've seen from Jake Muzzin thus far.
Yeah, like it's just delivers solid defensive play. Yeah, he's not the fastest skater on planet Earth, but you know what? If the guy's physical and defends well, who cares?
One more player I wanted to specifically highlight, and that's Jake Muzzin's defense partner, Morgan Rielly. Got a beauty goal tonight. He's in the discussion for the Norris this year, Ryan. He's having an absolute career season, and I know that we just locked Matthews up to this 5-year contract, and I'm thrilled about it, but you got to think that at the end of the season, Morgan Rielly's name is one of the top 2, 3, 4 names being discussed as the next captain of the team.
Yeah, well, dude, like me and you have said it in the past. Like, if this guy becomes the captain, there's no complaints coming from the Furnish brothers. Like, no, none at all.
No,
guy's
I
a
agree.
legend. And the best part about Rielly this season is we're always thinking about that number one defenseman, and he's just slowly morphing into that. This guy's just a minutes eater now. He just eats minutes. And you know what number one defensemen do? Eat minutes. So I'm just happy to see Babcock just continually throwing this guy on the ice any chance he can, because this is your best guy. He's good defensively. He's good offensively. I know people are comparing him to Giordano and saying his advanced metrics aren't as good, so that doesn't favor him. I don't care about that. I care about a guy giving me a productive 25 to 30 minutes a game out of my number one defenseman.
Agreed. He's all over the ice, man. Every time he's out there, you notice him. And he's a bona fide number one guy. And they haven't had one of those in a long time. And you hope when you draft guys that you can develop them and they can take that step. And Morgan Rielly is proof that it takes defensemen a long time to come into their own. And he's finally come into his own. And he's on a great contract. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, who was the last number one they really had? Like, just think back to all those, like, Matt's years or even the early 90s. Like, they've never had a absolute stud back there ever.
Yeah. So, a couple more things here on current events. Bob Cole's last Leaf home game tonight. The legendary Bob Cole. So many great memories and calls. I'm a little older than you. I grew up, and even you, like you grew up listening to him too. Like his voice is
legend.
Hockey. Yeah, his voice is hockey, and it's comfort, and it's Saturday night, and it's big games. Absolute legend. What's your favorite Bob Cole moment?
My favorite Bob Cole moment is the Borshevsky Game 7 against the Wings.
Oh,
like
that's
that's classic.
The whole 93 playoff run.
Classic.
It's just littered with Bob Cole. When Bob Cole is calling the Wendell Clark, Marty McSorley, Donnybrook in the West Final in 93.
Unreal, dude.
Yeah.
Classic.
It is classic. It's amazing. And if you haven't heard those calls, fire up the Passion Returns on YouTube.
Yeah,
you'll
honestly,
hear what we're talking
if you want
about.
to relive some Maple Leaf, for all those people out there who are just 93 playoff run lovers, we're going to post a YouTube link somewhere of the Passion Returns, because the full thing is on YouTube, and just take an hour out of your day and watch that. And it is probably my favorite VCR hour-long hockey movie video documentary of all time.
Special shout out to the Sundin overtime goal against the Sens in the playoffs is another great Bob Cole call.
Oh, there's so many of them. There's just, if we're gonna go like total nerd here and talk about broadcasters, like they just don't make play-by-play guys like this anymore. And I think that applies to all sports, not just Bob Cole and hockey. Like you look at Jerry Howarth, he just retired for the Blue Jays. There's not going to be another Jerry Howarth, or Vin Scully for the Dodgers. Like there's not going to be another Vin Scully. They just don't make these play-by-play guys like that anymore. I don't know why, but that's just all these classic voices, man. Rob, my brother, got a little question for you.
What's that, Ryan?
If people are unaware about the Talking Buds podcast, where can they hear us? Where can they find us?
Well, Ryan, they can hear the show on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. They can also follow our daily posts on Instagram at
Talking Buds Podcast,
on Twitter at
Talking Buds Pod, and do not forget to hit that little subscribe button and leave a little 5-star review and be a absolute bod.
Thank you for the support, everybody.
Now, let's get back to the Toronto Maple Leaf podcast for all the buds. This is the Talking Buds Podcast.
Ryan, let's not waste any more time and get into it. The biggest news in the last week, the Maple Leafs locking up Auston Matthews for 5 more seasons beyond this one. The average annual value of the contract is $11.634 million. Fun fact, Kyle Dubas was on Primetime Sports last night and said the 3-4 is the 34 on Auston Matthews' jersey.
Which is like Sidney Crosby's 8.7.
Yes, which is kind of funny that they work it out like that. As is the case with most things surrounding the Leafs and Leaf Nation and Leaf players, extremely polarizing, very, very mixed reaction to the deal. We're each going to have our chance to talk about it, so I'm going to tee you up and let you go first.
No. Not today, buddy.
Okay.
Not today, my brother.
Okay.
You are going first this time. I want you to give me your take, give me your opinion, and then I'll bounce off you this time.
So first of all, let's talk about the deal, okay? 93% is being paid out in signing bonuses. So in year one, on July 1st, I believe it is, Auston Matthews is getting cut a check for 15.2 schmil.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure through the first 2 years, he sees like
30 million.
At least 33 or 30 million of that.
30 million. So
Sup.
I'll take you through it. So year one, 15.2 million signing bonus, and then the actual salary is 700,000. Year two is the exact same thing. Year three, $9.7 million signing bonus, $750K salary. Year four, $7.2 million signing bonus, $750K salary. Year five, $7.2, $750K salary. So that's $54.5 million in signing bonuses and $3.6 million in salary. So Auston Matthews is getting paid, bro.
Yes.
Auston Matthews is just... Auston Matthews is texting all his buddies on July 1st of this year and going, Sup, boys?
Sup, boys?
Where are we going?
Loaded credit card.
Where are we
loaded
going?
Bank account. I'm buying this condo.
Yep.
Text all the girls you know.
Mm-hmm.
Get over to my place. It's all on me.
Let's party.
Yes. And
all right.
Quick note on that signing bonus, though, is this is how rich hockey teams can still be rich in a hard salary cap era.
Yep.
Like not even half, pretty much all the teams in the league, except maybe Montreal and New York Rangers or whatever, could not flex financially like this in signing bonus.
No. And so that's the beauty of being the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, which is the only way they can flex their rich muscles.
Okay, so let's get into this. So a lot of polarizing takes. A lot of people upset about the dollars and the term. So paying him 11.6 for only 5 years. So let's get into that. With 5 years, you've bought 1 year of unrestricted free agency. Listen, ideally, would you like to have him for 8 years? Yes, of course. But the dollars just weren't going to work. So you've paid him 11.6, which is fair market value, and you've got him for 5. At the end of the day, Kyle Dubas has one job, and that's to lock up his star players. And that's exactly what he did here. That's what he needed to do. He needed to arrange a deal so they can still keep the core pieces together, plus have a bit of extra money to build around them so this team can still be good. I know that he's a restricted free agent. Matthews held the hammer here, okay? He's the franchise player. You've heard us refer to him as the franchise many a times on the show. That's exactly what he is. He's the franchise player. So they made it work for Matthews. They made it work for the Leafs. This is also the beginning of new age RFA contracts in the NHL, right? You've heard us talk about it on this show before. The Leafs are at the forefront of this new movement where they have to pay these. Auston Matthews just signed that monster contract, and they've never even won a playoff round. And that is not Auston Matthews' fault. That is not the Maple Leafs' fault. That is just the way the league is going. And they did what they had to do to get their star player locked up on a deal that worked for everybody. Yes, there are things about it that you don't like. And it's just, they did what they had to do. He's here for 5 years. If you're upset about that, I don't know what to tell you, okay? We'll worry about it in 5 years, all right? They've got 5 more seasons. They're acknowledging that their window to try and go after a cup is within that next 5 years. That's the window. That's the window. So just everybody settle down. He's going to be here. They're going to try their best to put a team together that's going to go on a deep run, and just relax. Just relax. Matthew said some things yesterday that I really liked, and I'm going to just take a piece of a quote, and it's just said, in the end, you're measured on championships, and that's what I want to do. So saying, yes, it's a lot of money, but we're here to win cups. And that, to me, that was what I wanted to hear. And I'm going to let you go off on it, but one thing that I learned yesterday is there's a small and very vocal segment of the Leaf fan base that they're just never going to be happy. Like, they're just never going to be happy. They're always going to find holes to poke in anything that this team does. And it's like, whatever, man. Like it is what it is. They made it work. Everybody made it work for everybody. Just, I liked Matthews' enthusiasm to get the deal done. It just, I don't know. Like, just, everybody just relax. Just relax. That's my take.
Here's the camp I'm in, okay? We've had some time to digest this. It happened yesterday, so we got to think about it. Then we had today to think about it. And ultimately, what choice did Kyle Dubas have? Like, what choice did he have? Is he going to make his franchise player sit out till December 1st next year because he doesn't like the dollar figure? This is the leverage that Auston Matthews has as the franchise, as their first overall pick, as the guy who's leading the charge into this new era, okay? What was Kyle Dubas supposed to do? Like, this is the market. I don't get why people are upset. And Auston Matthews, okay, I get it. He's not Connor McDavid. Everyone always brings up Connor McDavid and what he makes. He's not Connor McDavid. But if you look at his statistics over the 3 years he's been in the NHL, he's second in goals per game behind Alexander Ovechkin, and he's sixth in points per game, and everyone in front of him has played maybe 30 to 40 more games than he has due to injury. So if you're Auston Matthews' agent, his camp, there's a lot of arguments you can make going into that negotiation, being like, well, look at the goals. There's a premium on goal scorers in the National Hockey League. you have to pay this. Personally, do I love the dollar number? No, I don't. Because even though he scores a lot of goals, I feel like he doesn't do enough shift by shift to earn that money. But guess what? That's just not the way it is. This is what a guy like Auston Matthews is worth in today's NHL. And the thing on the other side too, it's guys are like, well, he gave them flexibility. To me, this is a full win for Auston Matthews and a bit of a loss for the Toronto Maple Leafs. All the experts are saying this is a fair deal. It's not, to me, it's not a totally fair deal because I think Auston Matthews swings the hammer and he got kind of everything he wanted. He got 5 years, only 1 year of his UFA bought up. He got a ton of money and he just hit an absolute home run. But regardless of what you think about the dollar figure, the term, Kyle Dubas had absolutely no choice but to get this done right now. And I can see the positives and negatives of this deal. The positives is they got it done now. We don't have to deal with another William Nylander situation.
Thank God, man. Thank God we don't have to spend all summer talking about this. Like, thank God.
To me, that's the biggest positive because heading into the offseason with Marner, Janssen, Kapanen, we believe Gardiner's going to be gone, but Gardiner's up. That means Kyle Dubas can just, that's one check mark off his list. He got Auston Matthews done. The second positive, if you honestly believe that the dollar figure they got him at gives them flexibility, Elliot Friedman said yesterday that on an 8-year deal, he was expecting between 13 and 14 million.
Which would have totally screwed them over.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a huge number. I love Auston Matthews, but that's a big number. So if you honestly believe it gives them flexibility, then that's a positive. But I could also totally understand the frustration of Leafs Nation because you look at the Boston Bruins. There's David Pastrnak, probably going to score the same amount of... He's in that goals per game conversation with Auston Matthews. He's right up there. He makes 6-something million.
Right, but the league's changing though, right? Like how long ago did Pastrnak sign?
No, I know, I get that, But what I'm saying is, this is the frustration for some people, regardless if it makes sense or not, it's logical or not, inflation, whatever, what time the deal is. I understand that people would be frustrated because there's other hockey teams in the league who are really good, probably better than the Leafs, who have guys who are comparable hockey players to Auston Matthews, Mitch Marner, who are making almost half of what they're making. And whether that's fair or not, that frustrates people. So I get why people are frustrated. But ultimately, where I sit is Kyle Dubas had no choice but to sign this deal. And I'm just happy he got it done early. We're good. We don't have to talk about it all off season. We don't have to wait till December 1st. Just good on Kyle Dubas for going, you know what? This is what it is. I'm going to sign this now.
I agree with you. One of the things I'm seeing, too, is people feel kind of like blindsided and upset. And I'm legitimately surprised by this. Like, there's some people who felt like, remember when Brendan Shanahan came out at the beginning of the year and he was like, you got to take a little less if you want to win cups. And his message got kind of screwed up and everyone was like, easy there, Brendan.
Yeah.
But
that's just not the case.
Right. No, but Ryan, there's a lot of people who thought that was it. Like, there's a lot of people who are upset at what Nylander got paid and that he should have taken a bit of a haircut and they genuinely believed that all these guys were going to take a little less money to stay here and be Leafs. And it's like, it just doesn't, not everybody's Tom Brady. Like, not everybody.
Especially these new age NHL guys, man. And everyone expects the cap to steadily increase year after year.
Right. So, and that's that. I'm genuinely, I've been legitimately taken aback and, caught off guard by the amount of people who feel that way, who felt that, oh, well, they should have taken a bit less money to stay here. And it's just it doesn't work that way. Put yourself in these guys' shoes. Don't you want to get paid?
You can't blame the player. I'll back up the fans who believe that there are better hockey teams in this league who have comparable players under control at way cheaper deals. Like, personally, I'm not stoked having 3 guys, Mitch Marner, Auston Matthews, John Tavares, occupying $33 million of the salary cap. And like that doesn't get me stoked either. But this is like, you can't change the situation. This is what Auston Matthews has leveraged for himself over the first 3 years of his career. He's produced a lot. He's the face of the franchise. He sells a whack of jerseys. There's 34s everywhere.
Elliot Freeman made a really good point yesterday that MLSE sold the rights to the building to Scotiabank for $800 million. You got to believe that Auston Matthews playing in that building 42 nights a year at least is a huge reason why they could run that price tag way, way up.
Yeah, it's the first big superstar they've had since Mats. Like, you know, like this is the guy we've wanted for all those Dave Nonis, Randy Carlyle, Ron Wilson, Brian Burke years. Like, this is the guy we wanted. And this is the deal that was needed to get done. This is the number. This is the term. And we just have to live with it. And you could be frustrated, but you're going to have to get over it. Because what are you going to do? Get rid of him?
No.
Not sign him? Make him sit? Because you don't like the dollar figure? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Like, in hometown discounts, it's like, who don't give me the Steven Stamkos, Nikita Kucherov in Tampa. Like, they live in Florida. That's a favorable income tax state in the U.S. Like, don't give me that one example. These guys want to get paid, and everyone believes that the salary cap is moving up, steadily increasing every year. So maybe in 3-4 years from now, guys who are in Matthews' positions right now are getting paid $16 million if the salary cap's really going up.
Yeah. John Shannon yesterday was like talking about how it's 85 and it could be 90 in a couple of years, and it's like,
well,
it's
he's
just,
his wishful thinking about the China market. Like, I'm not.
You're not sold
I don't think
on
hockey's gonna get too big. Like, you can sit there all you like and talk about how hockey's gonna bigger in China. I highly doubt that. But
one more thing on Matthews. So they were talking about how this has been going on for the last talks intensified in the last few weeks. And Berkey pointed out on the broadcast tonight that he noticed that since the deal got done, you've seen Matthews play improve. Do you buy into that? Do you think that's what this is, like, this weighing on Matthews' mind was the reason why he was struggling there? Because we talked about it on the show. Like, he did not look like himself there for a few weeks.
No, I don't believe it was the contract. I think my biggest concern with Auston Matthews signing this contract, and Auston Matthews in general, is just him staying healthy. Like, it's just stay healthy. Like, he's been healthy since he hurt his shoulder, but the biggest obstacle for this guy is just going to be trying to play 70 to 82 games every single year for the next 5 years. Like, we can't be paying a guy 11.6 to sit out 25 games a year. Like, everything about Auston Matthews will produce if he's playing 82 games. His rookie season, he got 40 goals in 82 games. It's just that's my thing with Auston Matthews. Just stay healthy.
So, in typical Toronto media fashion, they signed Matthews to this deal, and within 6 hours, the focus and conversation completely shifts to Mitch Marner. And then we have an article come out where Marner's agent, I'm paraphrasing here, essentially says that the Leafs have been lowballing him for a long time. He went on both the Fan and 1050 today and clarified those comments. But it seems to me like all early signs are pointing at this Mitch Marner negotiation being far more public. Like, we heard nothing in the last two. We literally heard nothing about Nylander up until he signed. And with Matthews, we heard for the last, Mackenzie started reporting it in the last week and a bit that talks were heating up. So very, very little. But we had Marner's dad come out earlier in the year and chirp the team for having him not be considered captain. We now have the agent making these comments. Today, Marner is doing his pregame media session, and he's just being pelted with questions about his contract. Babs comes out today. I don't know if you saw the quote, but it was on Instagram. Watch Babs when he talks about Marner today, and he just goes, Mitchie's a Leaf for life. And then he holds his arms up. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
so
he loves Marner.
Oh, yeah. But it sounds like, I feel like, and Marner's camp has been emphatic that they're not negotiating in season. So it sounds like we are in for a long summer of Mitch Marner contract talk, Ryan.
Well, I just think Mitch Marner, especially with John Tavares coming in, like John Tavares kind of started this. I love John Tavares, but this signing for Tavares, $11 million, this started the whole like, okay, you bring in John Tavares, like how you gonna fit everyone in here? Like, and that sparked Dubas saying we can and we will sign everyone.
God, the we can and we will got thrown in his face.
Yeah, that was a big mistake, dude.
Yeah.
He was a little confident there, and I'm not sure that was the best move for him.
That was a rookie mistake. The we can, we will got thrown in his face 10 times yesterday.
Oh yeah, and just that. Well, you say that in this market or any market that cares about their sports team, dude, you're gonna get in trouble when you're not going to do it.
Yep. So where do you see Marner landing? Same, like his camp believes he's worth every penny that Matthews is worth, and I tell you, man, you watch the game tonight and 2 unreal passes, like, and he just we glow about him every single week. So, where do you see him landing?
I see him landing $10 million plus.
Yeah,
I don't see
sure.
Don't throw a $9 million offer at this guy. Like, I see him at $10 million plus. He'll get less because his size, his position, he's not a centerman, wasn't the first overall pick, wasn't pegged as the franchise. But if I'm Darren Ferris and Mitch Marner's camp, like I honestly get their arguments of thinking that he's equal to Auston Matthews. Like you said, you watch the game tonight. This guy makes an impact game by game, maybe more than Auston Matthews does. And I know he's not a centerman, but you can totally get that Mitch Marner in his mind's like, okay, I know me and Auston Matthews are best buds, but like, come on. Like, I'm out here at shift by shift, Look at John Tavares. He came in here, he's 32 goals now. And you know why? Because I'm feeding him the old biscuit.
Oh, dude, we were all so stoked a couple weeks ago when Babs put Matthews and Marner together, and then you watch Tavares during those. It was only like 1, 2, 3 games, but like
slow.
Yes, it just wasn't anywhere close to the player he was. Like, as much as we've all want to see that pairing of Matthews and Marner, the way this team is gonna have to go is Marner's got to be with Tavares and Matthews has to carry his own line. That's the way this has to go.
And if Matthews is making 11.6, he better carry his own line.
Yep, for sure.
But Mitch Marner is going to lead this hockey team for 2 straight years in points. And Auston Matthews hasn't been healthy. Mitch Marner's been healthy the whole time. Mitch Marner has played with Tyler Bozak, James Van Riemsdyk. James Van Riemsdyk had 38 goals playing with Mitch Marner last year.
I'm knocking on
a lot of goals the year before.
Oh, I'm knocking on wood right now, but Mitch Marner has that sort of Phil Kessel elusiveness where he doesn't put himself in situations to take big hits and get hurt.
And yet, I still think he's more physical than Phil Kessel ever was.
Oh, for sure. But he plays that sort of elusive style.
I think Marner knows that when it comes to his production, his impact to the game, that he brings the same or even more than Matthews does on a game-by-game basis. Like, forget the position, size, where they were drafted. I think Marner and a lot of Leaf Nation knows that game to game, this guy brings it more than 34 does or about at the same level. I know 34 kind of scores more goals, but I don't think Mitch Marner's crazy for saying, I think I'm Auston Matthews equal, because to me, I think he is too. And this is a guy who, if he continues playing 82 year after year, like, this guy's not going to have some 50-point season. Like, this guy's going to be continually point-per-game hockey player each season he plays if he stays healthy. So, like, they're in a tough situation, man. Like, this is brand new waters for Kyle Dubas and general managers around the league. You're gonna have 3 players tied up in $33 million.
We're gonna spend.
Goodness,
We're gonna
let's see
spend
how
the
this plays
entire
out.
summer talking about Mitch Marner's contract until the day he signs. The one thing he did say today that I found really encouraging was, like, we all know he wants to be here. Okay, so they're gonna get it done. And he did say, as long as I'm here for the start of training camp next year, because we all see William Nylander, so you got to get your ass at training camp next season. Period.
Well, I think the Nylander contract looks the worst now at all 3 of them. Like, I know he's playing better, but that $7 million's gonna weigh on you.
All right, and with that, it's time for this week's edition of Bums and Beauties.
It's time to find out who's a bum and who's a beauty. Take it away, buds.
That's right, Bums and Beauties. Ryan, I went first last week. You go first this week. Who is your beauty of the week?
Beauty of the week. We mentioned him earlier, Bob Cole. Just the
great choice.
GOAT. The GOAT of NHL play-by-play, hockey play-by-play. I know people of generations before me will say Foster Hewitt. I can't really have that debate. I'm not old enough. I'm old enough for Bob Cole, though, and I just love this guy. Listening to his voice. Another nerdy broadcast note on my part. I love how he just eliminates his, like, color guy. Like, there's no old man, like, jokes between the play-by-play and color guy when Bob Cole's calling a game. Like,
no,
it's just
all
call
business.
the game. Yeah, call the game. Let your color guy say what he has to say. Don't respond to what he says. Call your game. Bob Cole, classic, beauty of the week, legend, Hall of Famer, legend.
My beauty of the week is Mr. Jake Muzzin for his performance on Saturday night against Pittsburgh and then on Monday night against the Anaheim Ducks. And even tonight, I thought he looked good in certain situations. And just his addition, his play, and his complete confusion at Leafs Nation being so stoked about body checks.
Yeah, Jake Muzzin, that's a solid pick.
Bum of the week.
Bum of the week, Jake Gardiner, especially after I watched tonight. You know, there's people out there who just hate Jake Gardiner more than anything. They can't stand him. And I've never been a fan of him either, but I've never had the hatred that some other people have. Tonight, I felt it. He was brutal tonight. He was awful. He gave away the puck a million times. He's soft. He's an offensive defenseman, quote unquote. I don't see any offense out of him either. He stinks. Bum of the week, Jake Gardiner.
Yeah, I piggyback on yours. Special shout out to his defense partner Nikita Zaitsev, who just is equally as horrific.
Thanks.
My bum of the week is whoever scheduled and booked the Red Kelly celebration before the last Friday night's game against the Detroit Red Wings. The game was advertised for a 7:30 start, and we're all sitting there at 20 after 8 going, when the hell is this game going to start?
Yeah, wow. I forgot about that. That was a brutal hockey game, too. I didn't even touch on that.
Yeah, so whoever... Oh, dude, that was one of their worst games of the season.
That was one of the worst live sporting events I've ever witnessed in my entire life.
It was pretty brutal. But yeah, it started off on a bad note with the whole Red Kelly thing. Whoever was in charge of that, you failed miserably. So you, organizer of the Red Kelly celebration, are my bum of the week.
Shout out to Red Kelly, though.
No, shout out to nothing against Red Kelly. Nothing against him. Legend.
Just but the organization of that ceremony just needed a little bit of work.
Whoever put that thing together stinks.
Yep. I was ready to go at 7:30, and I was like,
Dude, I sat down at 7:25. Little did I know I'd be sitting there for an hour.
yeah, and like Andy Petrillo and Dave Poulin and Jeff O'Neill and Mackenzie had to sit there for an hour and just talk about the same things over and over again because no one had any idea what was going on.
Did you see, before we do the week look ahead, did you see Bob McKenzie's second intermission segment on Monday night where he like laid out the Leafs projected lineup for next year and everyone's salaries? It was a fantastic segment.
Yeah, but do you want to get in another 10-minute segment? Because that segment made me go a little crazy.
No, I don't. I'm just saying, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen the chart that he laid out, go look at it. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, it is. And it drives me crazy, to be honest with you. But it gives you a good outline of like what the effect of all this cap trouble, like what happens to other hockey players on your team when you start signing guys to $11 million contracts.
All right. We've had enough contract conversation. The contract stuff, like as much as like...
We could do a full episode on contracts.
100%.
I have
100%.
notes and notes and notes on the potential outcomes of guys leaving, guys staying, trades. Like it's just, we could sit here and have an hour conversation on contracts. Basically, if you're a hockey fan now, you don't only have to watch hockey. You got to know basic arithmetic and be an accountant on the side because this is what a hard salary cap era is.
Well, guess what, Ryan? We're going to have an entire summer of probably doing exactly that.
Oh, God, yeah. Contracts.
Yeah, I know. My God.
Contracts.
You and I could burn through 60 minutes of contract talk, no problem.
Oh, my God. We could talk about guys coming off the books next year, the year after that. What are they going to sign this guy to? Pull out our calculators, add, subtract, multiply, divide. We could do it all day.
All right, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do the week look ahead. Okay, so the Maple Leafs currently sitting in their usual spot, second place in the Atlantic Division with 69 points. Nice.
Is that Gronk would love that for sure.
Yeah. The Montreal Canadiens are behind them at 66, so they've put a little 3-point buffer between them and the Habs, and the Bruins at 65. And then the Sabres are at 58. So the Sabres have kind of come back down to earth here.
Well, I think the Bruins won tonight, so that puts them at 67.
Well, there you go. So the Leafs play the Habs.
Oh, no, the Bruins lost in a shootout, so that's 1 point for them.
Well, there you go. The Leafs play the Habs on Saturday night in Montreal. Big divisional game. I'm actually really looking... You know what, Ryan? It's been a long time since I've been jacked up for a Leafs-Habs game.
I'm jacked up for this one.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I am jacked up for this hockey game. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. I am. I'm really looking forward to it. So, Sunday, they're going on a little bit of a road trip. Saturday in Montreal, Sunday in New York against the Rangers at MSG. Tuesday in Colorado against the Avalanche. Thursday against the Vegas Golden Knights. Valentine's Day.
Okay. So you got Montreal, Vegas, two pretty good hockey teams. You got the Rangers, aren't a playoff team, but could easily beat you like they beat the Bruins tonight.
Yep, for sure.
So let's keep this 2-point streak going. I know I wasn't a fan of the game tonight, but at the end of the day, 2 points, all you need. We need that home ice, man. Like, just keep building that gap with the Bruins and the Canadiens. Keep winning. You'll get that home ice, and that'll be big.
All right. That'll just about do it for episode 18. There is one thing I wanted to point out here. Our buddy Tony, who is a loyal Talkin' Buds listener, just shared this on Twitter, and it's just... Ron Hainsey, 22:37 of ice time. Jake Muzzin, 18:27. I know that you and I aren't as down on Hainsey as everybody else, but like, what are we doing, Babs?
Dude, like if you're a Leaf fan Like, you shouldn't be surprised by this. Like, this is Mike Babcock 101. Like, let's just trust the veteran who has a family, who goes to the gym, who I know exactly what I'm going to get out of him. Like, we don't like it, but this is just the most Babcockian thing I have ever seen.
But it's like he goes and gets you like a veteran top 4 guy and like stay-at-home guy.
Doesn't play the right side, though.
Oh.
Doesn't play his strong side.
Oh, my God. He's
not on his forehand when he takes a D-to-D pass.
Oh, oh my God, he makes me so mad. He makes me so mad sometimes. Like I don't pretend, like I don't like to be like armchair coach and like say what he should and shouldn't be doing, because he's Mike Babcock. He knows way more about hockey than I'll ever know. He's forgotten more about hockey than I'll ever know. But like Mike,
it's just like, dude, like a hockey coach, like when you think about the NFL, you think about Bill Belichick and how he plays his defense. Like, in hockey, they're not playing cover 2 or sending everyone on a blitz or playing zone or man. Hockey's just an instinctive game. All the coach can really do is deploy a power play system, a penalty kill system, and decide who goes on the ice at which time. And when he's sending out a guy that people are kind of wearing on, a guy that no one's really a fan of, over a new guy who everyone loves so far, Leaf fans aren't going to like that. And we know that.
I don't like it at all.
No, it's frustrating because you're like, hey, I'm not down on Ron Hainsey at all. Personally, me, Ryan Furnish, Talkin' Bud, I actually like Ron Hainsey.
I don't hate him either. I think people way underestimate his value. But he's not a top. Like, he should be down there. He should be playing more than Jake Muzzin. If you want to play him more than Nikita Zaitsev or Jake Gardiner or Travis Dermott, that's fine. He should not be playing more than Jake Muzzin. Period. End of discussion, Mike.
Yeah, and a part of that, it's
brutal.
I'll give him a couple minutes. I'll give him a minute, 2 minute, because of that 4-minute high-sticking penalty kill they were on. But you're going to drive this fan base crazy when you play a guy that no one can stand, or the majority of Leaf fans can't stand, and play him over a new guy who's showing some serious signs of offensive skill and physical ability. Like, it's just, you're going to drive Leafs Nation nuts. But guess what? Mike Babcock does not give a crap about what we think or what we want. He's going to trust the old guy, the veteran, the guy with a family,
The guy who's in the gym, he's a good pro each and every day.
Like, I'm not surprised whatsoever.
All right, hate to end it on a ranty note there, but I guess that's how we're going to have to end it. That'll do it for episode 18. We'll be back next week. We're going to have to figure this out next week, Ryan, because we got a couple late games, so we'll have to pick a day next week that works and get the podcast out, but we'll get one out. We always do. So, thank you, everybody, for downloading. We'll catch you next week.